status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. Welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting. In today's show, we're going to talk about the notice of intent to deny. It's kind of spooky, okay? No one likes to see this type of document from USCIS, okay? I really hope you don't have this situation where USCIS mails you a notice of intent to deny, but you got to be realistic, especially if you don't hire a lawyer. Not saying that just because you don't hire a lawyer that you're going to get this automatically, but your percentages are going to be higher, right? Because you don't practice immigration law every day like we do or other law firms. This is something that we try to prevent in the first place for many clients, okay? We've been very fortunate. The times that we have had to work on notice of intent deny to respond to USCIS is because people hire us after they file their own case, or maybe there are times when people have hired other lawyers, and then the other lawyer's like, nah, I'm good. That's not what we do. Okay, so if this is interesting to you, stay on the show, okay? I'm gonna share some tips in the next 5-10 minutes, and then I'll answer some questions for the second half of the show. So of course, in the meantime, while I'm going through this, you're welcome to drop a question down below, or you share your experience. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So here's the deal: the notice of intent to deny. What is it? And it's essentially, as layman terms possible, the USCIS makes you think it's already denied, but it's not. Okay. It's saying intent, that USCIS intends to deny you, but they're going to give you another chance. Okay. So the way I like to look at it is, I don't like to put percentages to it, but I say they're trying to give you like a 1% chance, because they're trying to scare you, because ultimately you make their job easier if you don't respond to the notice of intent to deny anyway, right? And if you don't respond, they're going to deny you. So that's why essentially they're giving you a chance to respond to overcome their intent to deny. And fortunately, we've been very, very successful in overcoming that denial. Okay, we've also been successful to motion to reconsider, to appeal in that sense. Okay, so that's why but we don't accept every single case where someone says, "Can you do this?" Right? Because we're not going to offer you a quote for services if we believe, especially based on the strategy session, that first of all, you just don't even have the evidence to overcome it, right? So that's a key thing, right? We're different than many lawyers. Of course, every law firm is going to say, sure, I'll help you. But you want a law firm, a lawyer that can, as best as possible, given a limited time, to give you some kind of evaluation, an assessment to see if it's even worth it to hire a lawyer, right? Of course, in general, I always recommend at least you speak to a lawyer to assess it for you. Now, of course, if you want a full assessment, then you're more likely need to pay a consult fee. I mean, that's what most lawyers do. We do the best we can, by the way, in providing assessment for free at no cost to you. Okay, based on the training that I share with my premier associates, they have a pretty good idea of they have a really good idea. I mean, in terms of providing an analysis. By the way, you don't have to copy and paste your comments, because our team does go up and down to check. So, but I appreciate it. Okay. Let's see here. So, because someone said, for example, RFE success rate, I mean, of who? You mean USCIS or us? If it's us, 100%. Okay. I mean, people that don't want us to do the RFE. So here's a story. Before, many years ago, we would charge, the way we phrase our contracts, that if someone you don't want us to do, or in a situation where a client received a request for evidence, then we would charge more, right? Separate cost, because not everyone would receive an RFE. Sometimes the government is just nasty. Okay, USCIS is nasty, and they'll send an RFE when it's not deserved. Okay, the client had all the evidence needed. In fact, there was at least one time in my career that USCIS asked for a copy of the proof of entry of the visa, and it was the visitor visa, or I think it was the visitor visa, and it was already included in the package. Doesn't make sense. We scan every package. We have a copy in our system. We know exactly what's in it. We have a table of contents, a list of evidence, okay, that goes in the package. And USCIS sent a RFE for just that proof of entry. It just didn't make sense. So that's what really gave me a taste of USCIS, that unfortunately, some of the workers, the officers, might not be paying attention. And in fact, some things might get lost in the system. It's really sad to hear. Okay. So keep asking your questions in the comment section or chat box, or share your experience. I will get to them soon. Just a couple more minutes. Thank you so much for your trust and allowing us to guide you. Okay. So we're here to solve some kind of problem. If you have one, you might not have a problem at all. That's great. But it's good to go on our live show to at least hear what the possible problems could be for your case if they have not occurred in your case yet. Because sometimes when you already have incurred the problem, it might be too late to rectify it, to cure your situation. So that's why it's good to get on the live show, to tune in. So thanks for everyone who's listening right now. Okay, so tip number one: when you get this notification in your online account, my USCIS account, okay, they'll notify you, right? Or you might check on there. I mean, I don't know how it works. They email you. I don't think they email you, but you guys, I mean, when you get to a certain point, I know a lot of y'all are pretty good about checking your account anyway, but when you see that in there, right, then if you have an online account, they might have the document of the notice of intent to deny, or let's say RFE, or any kind of decision notice in the online account. So make sure you log in to check that. When I say online account, I'm not just talking about the case status, the web page of that, okay? Because that is just literally going to say, we mailed you a notice and you should expect it in like a week or something, right? That's not specific enough. It's not going to, I wouldn't say there's no point, but it is much more helpful to speak with a lawyer when you have the notice of intent to deny letter, okay? The notice in the mail that you received from mail, or at least on your online account, okay? So hopefully that helps, because we always ask our CARES team members, okay, people that, when you call in for the first time, you're going to speak to CARES team specialist. They're not attorneys, but they're going to ask you, if you mention that, hey, I got my online status says notice of intent to deny or RFE, like, look, we're more than happy to schedule you for a strategy session at no cost to you for 15 minutes. But to get the most appropriate advice for you, it's usually when you have the notice, okay? But you can go ahead and get scheduled in the meantime. Maybe just wait a week out just in case, to make your time as useful as possible. Okay. The second thing that you need to know about notice of intent to deny is that it has 30 days. Yes, at the very bottom, it might say, well, 33 days in parentheses if you received it by mail. It's just not good practice to focus on 33 days. Of course, the sooner you do things, because a lot of y'all are procrastinators, okay? Okay, you're procrastinators. That's just human nature. So that's why, which is tip number 3, is put it in your calendar, okay? Not just a deadline in your calendar, but a reminder to email you. The technology is there. A lot of y'all have some kind of Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. They have some kind of calendar that also has a reminder option. So take advantage of it, okay? That is what we do internally in our systems. We update 1 week in advance, 2 weeks in advance before the deadline, and just check in with the client like, hey, do you have XYZ document? So you might wonder, well, if I'm hiring a lawyer, or if I'm having to collect the evidence anyway, why don't you hire a lawyer? Because unfortunately, the list of evidence is it's just not black and white, okay? Sometimes you might not have half that stuff they're asking for. Sometimes you're freaking out because you're wondering, do I need to literally have every single item on that list? No, not necessarily. Because if you don't have kids, how are you going to produce birth certificates, right? That's a practical, simple one, but that's just an example. Don't freak out. Take reasonable action, consult with an attorney, schedule one. Even if you don't have a consultation, ultimately, at least talk to a law firm so you get used to like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to set up a consultation with this lawyer or law firm. They don't seem to be friendly. They don't seem like courteous. Like, then move on to the next one, right? So that's what you could be doing in the meantime while you're waiting for the letter in the mail, because you don't wait last second and then end up hiring maybe only the law one hiring the law firm that you spoke with, like the only lawyer you spoke with, right? You really There's so many lawyers out there. We're all here on, I mean, some of us are here on social media. um, so everyone's different, right? You might not like my personality, but the thing is, you need a law firm that takes action for you. Okay, that's really the most important thing. Okay, so even if you do this yourself, put it in your calendar, a weekly reminder. Basically, it's your job, it's your livelihood, right? You're trying to get legal status just like you do for work. It's in the calendar. If you have kids, there's always a lot of things on the calendar. So do that for your immigration case, please. I'm slamming my hands down because this is so important. Okay, um, so important. All right. Hey Tony, what's going on? Happy Friday. So I could continue talking about this, but those are the most important tips. All right. Know the deadline, talk to a lawyer, that keep searching for a lawyer that you would prefer, because you're going to be spending, bonus tip here, no surprise, if you're in a situation where your legal status is on the line because you don't have legal status at all, especially, then be ready to pay a lawyer, okay? And don't hire a notario. No offense to any of y'all that have a notary, but you're not lawyers, okay? So don't try to mislead someone to say you can do this, okay? It's not just paperwork. It's legal strategy, legal advice. Even some lawyers mess up. Man, oh my god. I consider a horror story. USCIS asked for a letter. You got to tell your story, essentially. They don't say tell your story, but you have to. There's some inconsistencies through the interview or like a site visit at someone's house, and you've got to address it. You got to respond back. Well, that one attorney, I'm not going to name any names here, okay, but one attorney had both husband and wife write this, sign the same letter. Like, when I say same letter, I mean like one letter, one document. That doesn't make sense. You need to have two separate letters, okay? And each person signed their own letter. I don't know. I thought that was like, you don't have to be a lawyer to know that, but to each their own. But I mean, that's something that, unfortunately, that's something you don't know, that you wouldn't be able to find out in a strategy session or when you talk with their assistant, right? You wouldn't know those kind of things. So that's why I share this kind of stuff. Like, does the person you're talking to sound even organized? Are they flustered? Like, because that's, you want to hire a team that's organized, because they know the action plan. The way we set up, like, even for our own clients, if for some reason they get an RFE, for example, or a notice of intent to deny, we have a template, okay, of certain questions. When it hits the mail, we receive it the same day. Our paralegals know certain questions to ask. First of all, did we do something wrong? Is there something that they're requesting for that was already provided in the package? Or maybe we did not provide it and that we should have provided it, right? I always acknowledge to clients, if we've done something wrong, we want to let you know. Fortunately on our part, for better or worse, fortunately for our part, it's really rare when we may have missed something. But on the flip side, it's very common that USCIS asks for something that's ridiculous. So I don't know, take it for what you will. But anyway, I can talk on and on about this kind of stuff. Main thing, if you have to get anything out of this before I start answering questions, talk to your friendly lawyer. Okay. All right. So let's answer some questions, folks. How y'all doing? All right, Lucas, your I-130 got approved 2 days ago. Congrats. Okay. I think we talked about chatted 2 days ago. And 485 is still currently being reviewed. You never had been in court or anything like that. What should you expect from that? Okay, well, great, good that you never had to be in court. If you did want to make sure, just in case, here is the website. Okay, you put in your A number to just verify if you were in court, if your name is in the court system at all, because there it is, acis.eoir.justice.gov. And so that's the you can't put it in your name. You got to put in your A number, alien number. But yeah, sometimes the I-130 is approved a couple days before the 45, and so yeah, usually it does take a couple days. But even if it takes a week, that's not horrible. But yeah, we're starting to get to a month or more. Let's talk. Okay, let's see if there's a way we can help. Harpista, hello. How often are green cards denied at final interview in the home country after 601 waiver? I don't have a number for you, but it just depends on your situation. Do you have a reason? Do you have facts or information about your own case that you think you could be denied? Like, for example, an easy one is, like something that most people don't talk about, like a disease. If you have a certain medical condition or disease, including not taking the COVID-19 vaccine, then that's pretty clear cut. Like, you're going to get denied. It's what we call a health ground inadmissibility. So, but most of us don't have to talk about that because most people already have the shots. So even though the CDC right now doesn't have any like mask requirement, or you don't have to show that you have the vaccine anymore in terms of U.S. citizens, but if you want to get resident status, you got to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Sorry. But there's a whole slew of reasons why people could be denied, whether you have a waiver and had to apply for a waiver or not. But hopefully for you, Harpista, that you get your waiver approved in the first place. So you might know this, but if after your waiver is approved then you have to set up another second interview. Alrighty, folks, let me head to the other channels here. Welcome to the show. Shoot, I keep missing you. Sorry. Harpista, yeah. Well, criminal history, you definitely got to talk to a lawyer specifically to see if it meets you can be not inadmissible. We can't cover that on a live show. Plus, I don't think you want to. Hello. If you apply for adjustment of status of VAWA, does how you enter matter? No, it doesn't matter, actually. It for people who enter without a visa inspection or parole, you don't have it, that's okay for VAWA. Great question as well. If your I-130 was approved without interview, do you still go for interview for 485? Yeah, possible. But if you already received, if you were here with if you enter with a visa, or even if you didn't enter with a visa, but you qualify for one of those exceptions like 245I and several others, then if your I-130 is already approved, let's say like recently, you're most likely not going to have an interview for the 485. Okay. And shout out to Maria. Thanks for pinning some comments. Sometimes we pin other comments. Okay. Good day. Can a married couple from Philippines get immigration papers if they have U.S. born baby? I think there's a huge misconception in that just having a baby, a U.S. citizen baby, is not going to be your anchor, as conservatives say, or your ticket in America, unless you wait 21 years. Then yeah, I guess that's your ticket, but you got to wait 21 years. So just having a baby alone is not born in America is not going to help you get residency. Oh, and you're saying marry both spouses are from Philippines? Yeah, that's not going to work. You're going to have to wait until that baby is 21 years old. Okay. Can you expedite your I-131 to see your son for his birthday? Probably not. I don't think a birthday would qualify, unfortunately, under their pillars or in priorities for 131 expedite request. We have been fortunate in some cases where we've been able to get that expedited, but for very specific reasons that fall under the um, priorities or the only reasons allowed for expedite requests. Which, keep in mind, folks. I mean, I'm sorry that you have to miss your child's birthday, but look, that's not going to fly. Okay, like even we've tried for when someone's pregnant, that doesn't work because then if that was the case, maybe more of y'all will get pregnant. So I don't know, but pregnancy is not easy from what I hear. Let's see. Y'all on Instagram a little shy. Okay. Hey Jack, what's going on? It doesn't have to be an anchor mom. Yeah, we're talking about a different scenario, but you're talking about removal of, I think what you're talking about is maybe like cancellation removal, Jack. Then yeah, your US born child can help. But this is the nature of the live show, right? Like I'm not able to get all the information that everyone's going through, but I'm pretty sure this person is talking about in general, nothing to do with removal proceedings. But thanks for your comment. Sin, how long are your U.S. citizenship applications taking? In general, in 2023, it's been taking about from file to interview, about average, if I had to guess, about 3 months. Okay. And then 1 month after would be the oath ceremony. Okay. So it's pretty good, because before 2023, it was taking like 12 months on average. So it's a good time. All right. 2023. We're in December right now. Happy December 1st. Getting ready for Christmas if you celebrate it. Do not wait to file your application if you're eligible right now. Because whether you got married or anything else for citizenship, do not wait. Even if your English is not perfect, we technically, yes, we have a few questions. It's really limited. President Trump tried to increase it from 10 questions to 20 questions. That didn't fly. Surprised, to be honest, but yeah, English, you don't have to have perfect English, so don't worry. That's usually people's concern on whether to apply for citizenship or not. Just don't wait. Let's see here. Maria, can you get some comments here on TikTok? In the meantime, for Jack, if you reach the USA somehow, U.S. born kid can help. Can a U.S. born kid help even if your asylum gets denied? Isn't it? I mean, if your asylum gets denied, then you're going to have a removal order. If you mean you have a removal proceeding, so everyone's situation is different again. But yeah, that's a long road ahead. I mean, and depending on the timing you got, if you're mentioning asylum, you likely don't even qualify for cancellation removal because you have to show that you've been in America for at least 10 years if you don't have any status here. So, like I said, there's just a lot of requirements. If you're concerned about your own situation, definitely speak with one of our team members up here on Facebook and YouTube. You can see our number and you can fill out the free quiz. For folks on TikTok and Instagram, sorry, you can't see our numbers. They don't allow us to share for some reason, visibly, I guess. At least that's the last time I heard. So, anyways, you can go message us send us a DM or follow us so you don't forget, especially if you're driving. I've heard some of y'all do that. All right. So, but greencardguys.com is our main website. Marcel, can you apply for humanitarian parole if it was in the country a month ago with J1? If you were in the country, well, I don't know where you're at now. I bet it sounds like, I mean, they have the humanitarian parole in general through the I-134A, I believe it is online. If you have a supporter, they call it, and it doesn't even have to be someone you know. It could be someone random, technically. but there's no like specific um, processing time. That's the unfortunate part. Holy, you've been waiting for your green card 4 months after 485 approval is normal. Holy crap! Yes, unfortunately, it is a. I don't want to say normal, but it has been occurring. A lot of people have been sharing their experience about that. So thanks for sharing for yourself as well. Um, we actually have one client as well waiting since April, and it's super frustrating. Super frustrating. We've been every time we can after like we call in, submit a request, go to tier two for them to call back. They haven't called back. I just called like 2 weeks ago. They're usually pretty quick. So something is going wrong. Maybe it was the holidays, but something's off in their system. So thanks for the reminder. I got to call back again for this client. But fortunately for us, it's only been for one client. But I have been seeing this same thing. So for you, call into USCIS, submit a ticket, and then maybe like a month later, submit another ticket if you have to. Say what the hell's going on in a nice way. Those are my tips for that for now, basically. Sin, how long are 601A taking? Last time I checked about a couple weeks ago, it was about 44 months. And so it's been like that on average for all the service centers. I think it's Potomac, Nebraska as well. In the Heart Center. There's a Heart Center, HART, which is supposed to help with significant waiver cases, which, by the way, folks, if you're wondering when you can sue for waiver cases, 601A, I know a lot of y'all have been asking. We have a motion to dismiss that we responded to in Houston, where a client had waited 3 years, 36 months. In my humble opinion, I think that's a hell of a long time. But of course, the government wants to say, no, that's not enough time. That's not enough time. They just need more time to process an application that used to take on average 8 months before the pandemic. So it's super ridiculous, especially when, not to take anything away from people who are married and filed a I-130 and 45 case, but those are processed pretty fast. So it is possible that they could process cases faster. They just don't want to. So it's pretty wild. So anyway, we responded to that, and I'll let y'all know how it goes. Of course, hopefully it goes positively. But yeah, there are some attorneys that we've heard that have been successful, but for the most part, when we did our research, a lot of people get the case dismissed in federal court. So just because some of them, I read someone just sued after like 8 months or something. I'm like, bro, you're making the reason why we are diligent in verifying how long you have waited on a case, because we want to make sure it's been what we call unreasonable timing. So if y'all just filed last month, 6 months ago, we're gonna take a chill pill, okay? Like there's other people who've been waiting, like Roxanita, 521 days, So that seems like, what, if my math is correct, about a year and a half almost. So yeah, that's getting to a point where, man, you might want to consider talking to a lawyer, at least one-on-one. But we would not sue if we think it's too short, okay? Unless a client is very adamant, very insistent, because everyone's situation is different. I know that some people go through medical issues and you really want to just try, then we'll do it. But in certain situations, if we don't think it's unreasonable timing, but we still filed because you want us to, then we're not going to respond to the motion to dismiss, because we don't want to create bad case law, because the government lawyers use that case law against other people, right? So y'all might not understand that, but we don't want to create a bad precedent, is what we call it, okay? Essentially. So hopefully what I share now, it's a little more behind the scenes of what that's why we have committees, meetings with other attorneys who handle certain type of work, so we can make sure we're consistent in that sense, okay? All right. Holy, you're saying that, well, yeah, your approval for 45, that means you're resident. So yeah, technically you're resident now. It's just a matter of getting the actual card, because of course that'll affect your ability to travel abroad. I mean, if your 131 is still approved and valid, then you could technically travel abroad on that. But It's always better you get the green card, right? So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But since you did file 485, yeah, you don't have to pay another fee or anything. People who are coming abroad from outside the United States, they have to pay the immigrant fee, $220, I believe, which is a whole different issue. Taylor, you're on DACA. You just got NVC letter saying if you don't pursue immigrant visa, application will be denied. So yeah, basically you have a 1 year from the time that you got that letter. So let's say it's at December 1st, 2023. You have technically 1 year until you take the next step. Okay. So the next step, for example, for consular processing is paying the fees to NVC on the CAC portal and filling out the DS-260. Okay, that's showing that you're proactive. Now you have DACA. Taylor, did you apply for AP, Advanced Parole 131, and then travel and come back? Because if you did, then you have a pretty good opportunity to adjust status in America. And then there could be other exceptions that could apply in your case. But there's a good time for me to mention is we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. We started doing this past year because we realized some of y'all might already have a lawyer, and we're not trying to step on other attorneys' toes. But some law firms are just not as good as explaining. So I'm not trying to do the extra work for them, but essentially you might need another perspective. And I might be saying the same thing, but just explain a little bit differently. Just, it's kind of like consider your immigration case like having surgery. It's a pretty important decision and a decision that you likely have to take. So you want at least two opinions, right? I would think so. So if you're in a situation where it's kind of a pivotal situation, you want to talk with another lawyer, I think that's understandable. Like when people do that with us, fortunately, I guess we explained it pretty good. But at least no one's told me no client's told me they talked to another lawyer, but maybe because they didn't, they're a little shy to share that. But I take no offense to that. Hey, what's up, Bilal? What's going on? You got a question? Happy to see if we can answer for you. Amy, you got a 601A. Ooh, 2018. You got fingerprints done in 21, and since then, nothing happened. Did you even get a transfer notice? So some people on the 601A got a transfer notice to a different service center back in, I think, May of this year, 2023. And a lot of y'all still just waiting. Like nothing has happened. In fact, I think some people got transferred to another service center, but then back transferred to the original service center. It's like, holy smokes, guys. Like, come on, government. Like, first of all, the whole purpose of them creating a new service center, they call HART, H-A-R-T. I can't remember exactly. I know the first word stands for humanitarian. But it's meant to help out with the waiver cases. And clearly that doesn't seem to be working. So you filed it back in, what did you say? 2019? That's what, almost 5 years? Yeah, well, let's talk then, because then if yours is 5 years, then it's clearly past the processing timetable, which the government says that you have to exceed, your waiting time has to at least exceed the processing table. But in our humble opinion, that crap shouldn't matter because they could just have a webmaster that's just like messing with us and just changing the months. Like for a while earlier this year, it was going from 36, 38, 42 to 44 months. Like, what the heck just happened in 1 month? Like, that's wild. So Sammy, let me pin your comment. Submitted VAWA application from July. You just got your receipt in October. Still didn't get your biometrics. Yeah, for some reason, Sammy, it is common. So don't feel horrible. Like you didn't do anything wrong. It's just the unfortunate government processing for VAWA cases is super slow for biometrics. And maybe you didn't get biometrics because maybe that's intentional because they figure they're not going to be processing your application in terms of a decision within 1 year anyway. So I don't know. That could be why. I'm not sure what they're thinking, but I think it's ridiculous. I think it's super slow for no reason. Lucas, is the same officer that approved the I-130 going to approve the 485? I honestly don't know because I think your assumption that's relayed to me is that this is your case like without interview. So I don't know how it's done internally, but I would think it's reasonable that whoever's approving the I-130 is going to be the same person approving 485. So there's a lot more into it about the 485. The I-130, I think, is more practical or easier in a sense, not as complex to approve, because that's more I-130 is more about establishing the relationship in terms of legally. If you were like if a marriage case, if you were legally married, that sounds easy, right? But also one thing they have to verify is like, well, if you were previously married, did you get divorced? And did you get divorced and waited a certain amount of time that you had to? So those are the main things for I-130. So in a sense, that's a lot less issues to review than the 485. So for what it's worth, hopefully that helps. But I know you said earlier that you waited it's been 2 days since I-130 approval, and that's typically how what happens. Like they don't approve at the same time. It doesn't show up in the system like that, which is it's just bonkers. I think it's totally bonkers. I haven't said that word in a long time. Hey, what's going on, Brittany? Good to see you. Long time no talk. Let's see. Keep us updated, okay, Brittany? Don't be shy. Andy, tell us more information. Andy Singh, how long time for green card, please? You already paid the fee. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, how long have you been waiting already? Ashley, you filed I-130 for your husband in Mexico. It's been 11 months. How long might the process be or hear from USCIS? So if you're talking about I-130 only standalone because your husband's abroad. Those generally take about 12 months. I haven't seen it less than that. That would be great because just consular processing in general takes a long time waiting for the interview. But as soon as you get that approval, first, early congrats, but get ready to have your tax return, pay stubs, everything that the next step requires. Just go ahead and get that ready because you don't want to take another full month to just get those documents ready when you could have done that earlier, right? So, and if you need to update it, then that's fine. That makes sense. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And so, to give you a little better expectation in terms of timing, after I-130 is approved, it takes on average, it seems like about 2 to 4 weeks for the National Visa Center to email you the next steps. Okay, the invoice number, the new case number. It's a different case number. I really don't know why they have to complicate things like that, but it's essentially the original receipt number. That's with USCIS, and a new case number is associated with the consulate or essentially the country of nationality. So for Mexico, it'd be CDJ, and then a number. Okay. So get ready to pay those fees. That is $445 for people who are abroad going through consular processing, family based. Holy, you have advanced parole, and you're asking, can you travel to Mexico while you wait for the green card? Or will it be better to wait? Um, yeah, I mean, if you don't have any criminal crimes or arrest to be concerned about, and your advanced parole is valid right now, and make sure it's still valid by the time you come back, of course, then yeah, we've had clients do that even while they're still waiting for the actual green card, and even though the green card is or 485 is approved, which it's unfortunate people have to still wait for that. But check in with me. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna ask the other colleagues what the heck they're doing to get the green card for their clients because, man, this is USCIS customer service is not doing too good for me on this case. Aisha, you filed I-130 for your spouse in US. How long for the approval? Oh, in the US? Well, did you file 45 also? Are you a citizen or resident? If you're willing to share, because if you're a resident, then it's understandable why you didn't file the I-1 45 yet. But assuming you filed everything in 2023, it's been average 3 months for a marriage case. Now for sponsoring your parent, it's taking longer. I don't know why it takes longer. Like that's even easier in a sense. Like they shouldn't even have an interview. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Okay. Let's see here. I'm so sorry. I'm not able to answer everyone's question. I wish I could. So we're just typically randomly picking here. We do go up and down, so you don't have to copy and paste your comments or questions. We really appreciate everyone's trust. It means a lot to us. Okay. Thank you so much. Christy, you filed I-130 this year. You applied for expedite due to humanitarian reason, but got denied, but gave no reason why. Yeah, I mean that's true to USCIS's demeanor. They're not going to give you a reason. If anything, it'd be like your reasoning of what you ask, what that your reason to get expedite does not fall under their what do you call that, priorities, essentially. Their own reasons for categories of expedite. Unfortunately, there is no appeal process because this is a discretionary option for you. In fact, this is not created by Congress. Like, for example, like visas, this is just discretionary. This is created because of the pandemic. So technically, if they wanted to, they can, I hate to say, they can completely get rid of it because we're not in the pandemic anymore. Hey, that's according to what the CDC says. And I'm still going to take my vaccines and everything. Whether they're good or not, that's a whole other debate, or got expedited in their own way. If you get a notice of intent denied, can you reapply for your spouse? Well, you can. First of all, you don't even have to think that far ahead, because when you get a notice of intent denied, does not equal denied. You still have a chance. You have 30 days to respond. Okay, but yes, if it ends up being denied after that, then typically yes, you can reapply, but you have to address the reasons why it was denied in the first place. Especially if you had an interview and there was inconsistent answers, the answers were not the same. So I know it's totally weird. Why is it important to hire a lawyer for something like this? At least for the interview. And it's because you might think, well, we've been together for so many years. We know each other. And you go and interview like, oh shoot, did we just answer questions wrong? So we have a PDF of 100 questions, okay, of lawyers that we work together, collaborate to share the common questions. The common questions where the USCIS thinks is a red flag. Okay. So if you're interested in something like that, I'm going to make a video about that. So you can comment below and ask for a copy or just send us a DM. But even then, that's 100 questions. That's a hell of a lot of questions. They don't actually ask that many questions, but these are just the ones that have come out during interviews. Okay. But that's why even if you don't hire a lawyer, you need to take time, build in time into your schedule to practice with your spouse. I know it's totally strange, but I hear things like, "Oh, my spouse doesn't have time for me." I'm like, "Yo, then why are you married?" No, I'm just joking. But still, so y'all need to build in some time for each other, at least for the immigration case. Okay, please, because you guys are down to the finish line, and then you're like, "Oh, it's no big deal." Sometimes I think hiring a lawyer, if anything, y'all, hopefully it encourages your spouse, because it's always at least one spouse, right? One person that's like on point. They're like, I'm going to give everything to attorney. I'm going to talk to attorney every time they want to talk with me. Like, we get people apologizing to us that they're slow to respond to us. And I think that's pretty wild, to be honest. Like, we apologize when we're slow on the rare occasion. But yeah, I mean, because when we have a meeting with clients, for a marriage case, I expect both people to show up. So don't worry. If you're that one spouse is like gung ho about your own case, don't worry. We're gonna call out your spouse and say, get your butt over here, okay? And it's a video call. You don't even have to show up to the office. Like, how difficult is this? It's not that difficult. So y'all, don't worry. That's a benefit, intangible benefit of hiring a lawyer that you may not have thought of. Now, some lawyers might not care. They're like, so be it. This is what we do to help alleviate the situation if your spouse doesn't show up. We have short video clips for clients to prepare for the interview, and we send that to y'all, both emails, okay, just in case you don't have a shared email, that's okay. We send it to both y'all, so at least you have something to get you started, okay? To get your mind thinking on what you need to do to prepare, okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Hey, Amy, thanks for your comment. I really appreciate it. Amy says here on TikTok that she thinks we're one of the best attorneys she loves to listen to. So generous with advice for you. Happy to help any way I can. Thank you so much for everyone that's on the show to just ask us a question, because I know it takes a lot to trust someone, a professional, just to ask a question. So don't be shy, folks. We're happy to answer it to the best we can. All right, Gozi, your 751 is denied. Can you still work while waiting for a reason of denial? By law, they're going to say no. Okay, the notice is going to say, you can't use your work authorization, even though the EAD shows valid right until a future date. Now, HR, do you have to tell your HR? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but there's no legal obligation to tell your HR the update on your case. So take for what you will with that information. Okay. But hopefully, I don't see a situation where HR would know to ask you, like, hey, I see your 751 is denied. I don't think they would know that. Okay. So that would be kind of wild. Like, how would they have access to that data? But Gozi, I know your comment from earlier, your message from your DM from earlier. So as soon as if you haven't called our office yet, as soon as you get your denial letter, give us a call. Okay, let's see if there's a situation we can refile your 751 with the proper evidence, or think of another strategy. Okay, because some people, if they don't refile the 751, then, not saying it's going to stop the court from starting a case against you, but it's always better if you have a new one on file, so you can provide it to the judge if there is a court removal proceeding getting started for your case. User 783, why NVC takes forever? You've been waiting for interview letter since May 2023, CR1. May, and it's December 1st. Did you say the Philippines for some? Yeah, you did. So yeah, Philippines in general, Philippines, Nigeria, Islamabad, those are the top three that take a hell of a long time. So for Philippines, we tend to wait longer and longer until the right time, I guess you can say, unreasonable time to file I mean, I think it's already unreasonable for you, user, but at the end of the day, I don't want to file a lawsuit and then it could get dismissed if I have a better knowledge. When I have the knowledge about specific consulates, embassies, then I might hold off. Like, I know some of y'all share within like your own Facebook groups or something, like, oh, this attorney did this, did that. I mean, the facts are different, right? So it depends on the consulate and your stage of the case. By the way, folks, if you appreciate everything that we've shared, how I share content information here, please give the thumbs up, click the thumbs up, the heart, the likes, the heart, whatever it is on on all these different platforms. Really appreciate it. And if you actually talk to one of our team members or attorneys or CARES team specialists, please go to reviewtinglaw.com. We greatly appreciate it. Our team really do read it, because as soon as those reviews comes in, we have a win chat. If you have Slack, something like that, then I guess you could say a win channel. And so the team is always happy to see that the work that they've done is it's fulfilling our mission, basically. Let's see here. I can answer one more question, then I have to hop off. You're welcome, Hone J. You're welcome. Happy to help. Sin, you said, would it be faster to file a petition, I-130, U.S. citizen child petition for mom or resident for spouse? That's tough to say. I mean, you got I think that's better answered in the consult strategy session with us, because I need to know, I need to know a lot more information. I can't just say quickly like one thing's better than another. And it also depends where you're at. Are you in America? Are you outside? If you're even eligible for adjustment, okay? Because I know right now you're asking about petition only, but we look at the big picture, okay? We look at the big picture for also employment cases. People are sponsored by companies, not just individuals, because if we only look at the first step, then it doesn't do you good if we don't look at the whole thing, right? So comprehensive approach, okay? A holistic approach. All right. So hopefully that helps, folks. Thank you so much for your trust to ask us some questions. So today is Friday. Look forward to see you on Monday, okay? And let's see. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. One of the best ways to get your answer is to hop on a live show in the next weekday, so it'll be Monday, or give us a call first. See if your cares team can qualify you for a strategy session. All right. Not everyone qualifies for a strategy session. We follow time block schedule. We have to build out time to actually do the legal work, and they also have build out time for the strategy sessions. So, and not all of our strategy sessions are without cost. So we have limited time slots for that. So, but anyway, take advantage of it. Don't be shy. If anything, even if you don't qualify for one, we do have free guides that at least it can get you started. Okay, it has answers to common questions and estimates step by step. All right, thank you all the best. All right, you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, Tony. You too, sir. All right, take care. Bye bye.